Welcome to another edition of the Doer's Digest. Today we're jumping into a really powerful story. One about a challenge that, let's be honest, every single one of us has to face. What do you do when you've messed up and the truth comes knocking at your door? We're going to be using our anchor text from 2 Samuel to turn some ancient wisdom into real modern action.
4 words. That's it. That's all it took. Just 4 sharp, brutally honest words from the prophet Nathan to King David. I mean, can you imagine words so powerful they cut right through a king's denial, his power, his whole self-made story? It was a moment of reckoning that changed absolutely everything. It's like when a mirror is suddenly shoved in your face and you just can't look away. So let's start right there with that universal feeling, that shock of seeing ourselves for who we really are, not just who we pretend to be. This is exactly what happened to King David, and our anchor text in 2 Samuel chapter 12 just lays it all out for us. Isn't this so true? We all do it. We build up this story in our heads where we're the good guy, or at the very least, our actions are totally justified. David was living deep inside this self-made bubble, completely blind to how awful his sin was, until the prophet showed up. He could see the sin clearly in someone else's story, but he just couldn't see it in his own. And this brings us to this incredible idea, loving confrontation. You see, what Nathan did, it wasn't an attack. It wasn't about shaming the king. His courage was actually an act of love. It was this incredibly risky, faithful move to wake David up from his moral coma and call him back to who he was supposed to be, to restore him, not just to shatter him. And now we get to the pivot point of the whole story. Because what David does next, well, this is what separates real leadership from just having power. David's response wasn't defensive. He didn't get angry. No, it was something completely different, and it all turned on just 5 simple words. Just think about that for a second. Think about all the power packed into such a tiny phrase. In that moment, he could have had the prophet executed, he could have doubled down on his lies, but instead, David chose a totally different path, and it all started with this one simple admission. I have sinned against the Lord. Now listen, those are not the words of a weak man. Not at all. In fact, they're the complete opposite of weak. This is the sound of a heart doing the hard, painful, necessary work of just owning the truth. That's the sound of real strength, not shame. So here's the real game changer. David's confession, it wasn't followed by a but. He didn't have a long list of excuses. It was a full stop, period. Just pure accountability. And in that one moment of raw honesty, he unlocked the door to healing, to restoration, instead of digging himself into an even deeper hole. Okay, so this leads us to a part of the story that's pretty challenging, but it's so important. What happens after the confession? Well, our anchor text shows us a profound truth. Forgiveness and consequences, they aren't mutually exclusive. As a matter of fact, they often walk hand in hand. And you can see that double reality perfectly right here. On one side, you've got mercy. God forgave David completely. The relationship could be restored. But on the other side, there was consequence. The natural, heartbreaking outcome of his actions still happened. The child died. And you know what? Real growth, real change. It happens when we learn to hold both of these things at the same time. And here's the core idea for us, for the doers out there. Walking through the consequences without demanding some easy way out, that is what forges real character. It's in that humble acceptance of the mess we've made that our hearts are actually refined and our integrity is rebuilt, way stronger than it was before. Okay, so that's the story. How do we actually apply this? Let's bring it out of the text and into our lives. Here is a practical playbook for when you find yourself in your own David moment, when that mirror gets held up and it's your turn to respond. All right, here's your path forward. Number 1, stop defending, start naming. Just use plain language. I was wrong. That's it, no excuses. 2, seek wise counsel. Find someone you trust who will actually hold you accountable, not just tell you what you want to hear. 3, accept and repair. This is a 2-parter. You accept the consequences you can't change, and you actively get to work repairing the damage you can. 4, and this is so important, let mercy shape you. Let forgiveness be the fuel for a new way of living, not just a get-out-of-jail-free card. And finally, number 5, stay humble. Pride is what gets us into these messes in the first place. Humility is what gets us through them. So let's make this super practical. What does this look like? Say you used hurtful words. You stop defending. You admit it, and you ask, how can I make this right? What about a poor financial choice that hurt someone? You confess it, and then you show up with a real plan to pay it back. A leadership failure? You confess it publicly, and you invite accountability. See? It's always about action.
As we start to wrap this up, I really want you to hear this. Confession feels like an ending, doesn't it? It feels like death to our pride, to our reputation. But it's not the end. It is the very hinge on which a new, more honest, more whole future begins to swing open. Really, the takeaway is simple, but it is definitely not easy. It all comes down to two things: having the guts to be completely honest and having the humility to accept whatever comes next, both the incredible mercy and the necessary consequences. This whole process, it's not about shame. It's about restoration. It's not about closing a chapter in your life. It's about finally turning the page to a new one. So the only question left for all of us is, are you ready to begin? Let's just close with this prayer. Maybe take these words with you. Lord, give me the courage to hear truth, the humility to confess it, and the faith to accept both mercy and consequence. Repair what I have broken, reshape my heart, and lead me in the way of faithful obedience. Amen.